know, I'm looking at you with, I don't know, $10 million worth of diamonds and gold and everything, and then I'm looking at your shoes that are just a disaster. Now, will you explain to me, what's with these shoes all taped up?
You see, well, to some people they might see this tacky, but there's a message in these shoes. You see, out in Hollywood, and especially all the money that I'm making now, it's so easy for me to get caught up in all these material stuff and forget where I'm coming from. So wherever I'm whether I'm with a governor or a mayor or a reception or whatever, when I look down at my shoes, they let me know, hey, I can't get too carried away here. So it keeps me level. As I say, I want to keep my feet on the ground and my head towards heaven.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Valencia Jean. I'm your host of Straight to the Point, Straight to the Streets. We're back outside. We're outside here at Union Market, Washington, D.C. Today we're going to be talking about all of the T's. We're continuing our segment, and today's word is humility. Now, the basic definition is having a low or a modest view of one's own importance, meaning you kind of dim your light a little bit to help shine a light on someone else. So now we're going to talk to the people and we're going to see what they think about humility. When you hear the word humility, what comes to mind?
I feel like doing things like in service of others, not yourself, and then doing service to others, like especially for them, and like, because I think people can hear that and be like, I'm gonna go volunteer and then post it on Instagram and tell everyone.
Right.
But I think it's the intention behind it. That's the difference.
I would say just being like meek, being modest, being like very respectful, not trying to put yourself above others, and really just trying to have like a servant, type of mindset.
I feel like accepting your accomplishments as well as, the mistakes you would make as a part of your whole character, instead of just, I don't know, either bragging or maybe just not even accepting your mistakes because you think you might be better than other people. Just being able to take everything as you are and with the flow of it. So.
I love that.
That was so good.
I know, right?
Wow.
Do you?
What he said.
Being humble is all about getting out of your own head, I think, and having perspective on where you're at, where you're at in life, where you're coming from, what's come before you, if you're talking about family history.
Yeah.
So all those things. I mean, humility is just about stepping back and recognizing you're not the center of everything.
Tell me about a time that you felt being humble didn't quite work in your favor.
I don't know if I've had that encounter. Where I come from, I'm from the Bronx, I'm from the hood.
Okay.
So humble is just all I know. And I don't think I've had an experience where I would say like being humble didn't work out in my favor.
Okay.
I think everything that I've gotten is because God gave it to me. So my humbleness and having that humility, like that comes in play.
Right.
I think there have been various points where we don't claim the space, or at least for me, I haven't claimed the space where I know, okay, I know this thing, or I know I can do this well, or I have this particular title or position, but I won't step into it.
Right.
I think my way is I tend to sit back and observe before stepping in. But there are times at work, for instance, or I was teaching abroad for a while, and I think that doesn't always serve you well, because in setting a tone in a classroom, you kind of need to step in with energy and confidence.
Right.
And sitting back and observing isn't necessarily the MO that works in getting students engaged and making people feel confident and comfortable.
Do you feel like humility can be a weakness or a strength, and why?
Yeah, if you ain't strong, it'll get to you.
Like people can run over you?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's like the ultimate strength, but I can see how people that have like, wounds could perceive that as a potential weakness.
Yeah. It could be easy to take advantage of if you're not in a best relationship with someone else.
I think it's perceived as a weakness.
Okay.
I think that we come from a society where everything is kind of about me. Everybody's individualistic.
Yeah.
So caring about others isn't something that we learn about all the time. Unless you come from a background of like people with huge families or, your religious backgrounds. But normally it's like the U.S., we're very individualistic.
Yeah.
So it's something that is a weakness here, but is in other countries
it's a strength, right?
If that makes sense.
I think humility with confidence is definitely like a strength. Like I think if you're like a humble, type of person, but you have that confidence to really like, do things that, people might think like just humble people might not be able to do, I think it's really, really a strength, you know.
Do you feel like in this stage of your life, humility is necessary?
Yes, for sure. At the stage of life where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I'm stepping into a new career, and it's an institution which has all sorts of ways and rules that I'm not familiar with.
Right.
And so I think humility serves me well in helping get into that. Even though I'm coming into it in a pathway that like has some prestige attached to it, it's like I'm not going to be. I don't know much.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
stepping in, trying to learn, and
Everything,
and
yeah.
moving slowly and with intention. And that's it. That's all I
Yes.
can do. Yeah.
I just graduated from medical school. I'm a resident
Congrats,
doctor.
yes.
Yeah. So like we deal with like, patients all the time, and like dealing with patients, you have to have like very much of a customer service like approach. You have to be like very humble. You have to really like break down a lot of like medical jargon and terms, to their level, and sometimes they're gonna just not really understand.
Right.
And you really have to like lower yourself, even though you're a doctor or anything, you have to really lower yourself, be like on their level, talk to them as if like that was your mother, that was your brother, that was your friend, and just really be able to like give them like the information that they need, so that both of you guys can like make like a decision about like what's gonna like eventually like help their life in the future. Yeah.
Honestly, 100%. I feel like that's the way I prefer to like go forth in friendships, relationships, like everything, because I think there's nothing more powerful if you're like fighting with someone or arguing than to just be like, I messed up, like how can I learn and not do this again?
Yeah.
For me, that's just always been like, that's the trump card. Like why would you like call someone a name when, I don't know,
When you don't have to.
it's just like it's the easiest way to end an argument in a healthy way. And I don't know why people don't do it more, because it's like literally it's the key.
Right.
I don't
I also think that we're like approaching our mid-late 20s, and I'm just.
We're 25.
Yeah. But
Okay.
every year
We just entered our mid to late 20s.
She's like, I'm not that old, man.
But every year that I age, the more I realize I don't know. So humility, I think, is very necessary, and just kind of being able to be excited about aging and all the knowledge that will come to me eventually.
Yeah.
And yeah, just being able to acknowledge that I don't know everything.
I love that.
I think we all go through things in life. This shit is rough. Life is not easy.
Yeah.
So, me giving a little bit of humility, or that's what the
Yes.
term is?
Yep.
Me
Humility.
giving a little bit of humility means that I also get it back, and it's not selfish, but it's also knowing that I care for others so that they'll care for me.
Right.
There'll be a time where I need people too. I recently had my grandmother passed away.
Sorry about that.
I have friends that, I've been there for them, and now they're rallying, and my tribe has been around me.
Yeah.
And I think that's the blessing in giving humility and offering it, so that you get it back.
It'll come back around.
It falls full circle.
I love that. Do you feel that you have to diminish your view of yourself to be humble?
No, I am who I am. I don't come off cocky or nothing. I fit in with anybody. Never met a stranger in my life.
Love that.
I think it's just something that I normally do. I think there's a difference between like being humble and then not knowing your worth, right? There's a difference. Being humble is just like, okay, I know my quality, I know my abilities, but it's not knowing that I'm not enough. So, yeah, I think there's a difference between the two.
No, I don't think you have to decrease your view on yourself. I think actually being humble like really increases like your view on yourself. Like, where other people are maybe like expecting, a certain type of like demeanor, you're more like centered and more poised, in those situations. So I think being humble is actually really a good thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
Humility is all about, thinking about where you're coming from and what's going on around you. I don't think you have to diminish yourself to recognize the enormity of life, of where you're at, of where you come from. So I think you don't have to diminish anything. We're small enough as it is.
Right.
So claim, step in and claim what you have.
Yes.
And recognize that you're not the end all be all of anything in this life. As I get older, especially, I realize like, what else are we doing out here if not trying to elevate each other? Because what else can we do? We have such little control over so many things.
Right.
So.
Thank you. I love that.